A settlement agreement has been reached in a federal class action lawsuit filed by Oregon foster youth against the Oregon Department of Human Services.
And the settlement comes after recent reporting by Fox 12 Investigates showing how the majority of abuse and neglect allegations by foster youth in Oregon are ruled unfounded by the Oregon Department of Human Services. Investigative reporter Adrian Thomas has the story.
Well, this case has been pending for about 5 years and just avoided going to trial. Public records we've obtained also show the state mounted an expensive legal fight to defend ODHS. Oregon foster youth and their attorneys alleged ODHS violated the constitutional rights of foster children to be free from maltreatment while in foster care. With this agreed upon settlement, which still has to be approved by the judge, change could be in store for Oregon's foster system. It's a case that's been pending in federal court in Eugene since 2019. In the federal complaint, attorneys for Oregon foster youth allege ODHS hasn't done its job keeping foster children safe and accommodating their physical and mental health needs. According to public records, the state also paid over $14.7 million over the last 5 years to one private law firm in Portland to assist state attorneys in defending ODHS. According to the final settlement filed by both parties on Thursday, the two sides will agree to a neutral party who's experienced in child welfare and federal oversight to dig into alleged issues in Oregon's foster care system and recommend changes. The neutral party will address issues like abuse and neglect in care, reviewing the quality of foster placements, work to improve the timeliness of making case plans when youth enter care, and review how ODHS documents maltreatment in foster care. And according to the settlement agreement, the neutral party will complete its initial review of ODHS and Oregon's foster care system by April of next year and recommend changes. Every year after, the neutral party will continue to monitor ODHS and will issue yearly progress reports for up to a decade or until the neutral party feels enough improvements have been made. Again, the judge must sign off on this agreement for it to become official. In studio, Adrian Thomas, Fox 12 Oregon.